Casting a shadow over all of sports. This is broadcasting's most listened to blimp, Sportsblimp.
Ba, black sheep, have you any wool? Yes, sir, yes, sir. A 15,000-seat stadium full. Hello, everyone. We are looming live over the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club, best known as the host of the Wimbledon Championships in London. But today, it's the Grand Ram, the Wimbledon of sheep tennis. I'm Will Regan here, and with me, as always, Captain Hal Overman at the controls of our mighty Flying Fortress. How are you, Hal?
Let me know when you're on. I'll be quiet.
Testing. We're on, Hal.
I'll be quiet.
And to help share the action with you is my esteemed colleague and former voice and ears of the Cincinnati Short Pants, Eric Rantman.
Oh, I had no idea I was esteemed. Thank you.
That's the broadcast equivalent of being knighted here in the UK.
I'll take it. Great match lined up for us here today from center court. Some British-style sheep tennis.
Before the action begins and we lay out the prospects for our two combatants today, let's do a little celebrity gazing. Who do you spot in the stands today?
Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, John McEnroe, Venus Williams, Billie Jean King, and Sting could be here today.
But until that London fog clears, could be anybody out there.
They could be.
It's really hard to say.
What we enjoy about sheep tennis as it's played here in the UK is the pageantry that goes along with it.
And we can only imagine what it will be this year.
Well, yes, and hopefully this fog will clear before the match begins. Pardon me?
By the way, I want to thank the tournament management for allowing us to cover the competition in progress as we took longer than expected to cross the Atlantic in our sports blimp.
We're about 2.5 weeks overdue.
Thanks again.
Well, the Queen must be arriving courtside.
How can you tell? Today, covering the action from courtside, giving us that terrestrial perspective, is Dr. Leonard Novotny.
Good day to you up there. Can you hear me? I don't know if they can hear me or not.
Now, there's a great tennis name, right? Novotny.
Dr. Novotny, are you any relation to tennis champion Yana Novotny?
Wait, let me check my Wikipedia page. Loading.
We should explain to the folks at home that the good doctor is an ear, nose, and throat specialist and cares for players and fans who may be allergic to sheep.
And it's not the wool so much. It's more apt to be the dust.
Sheep are probably the dustiest animals in the world. They're like walking shag carpets. Dr. Novotny, are you still with us?
Still loading. Loading.
Well, let's use this opportunity to offer some insight into today's matchup.
The real scoop.
The Real Scoop is brought to you by Benjamin's Big Texas Yogurt. Try yogurt the Texas way in a big tub wide enough for a steer to stick his nose in. Yogurt is so good for you, we at Ben's Big Texas Yogurt believe you shouldn't have to eat much else. Ben's Big Texas Yogurt comes in 3 sizes: extra big, whoa there fella, and bathtub size. Benjamin's Big Texas Yogurt, a week's worth of yogurt every morning.
As you know, sheep tennis has gone through some major changes in the past few years, mainly as a response to injuries and ridicule. It was a different game when Hungarian sheep farmer Arsh Kabarsh found an abandoned tennis club near the small town of Nagyar, where he thought he could keep his sheep safe from German soldiers during the First World War. Most think of sheep as a source of food and clothing. Well, back then you could see them as a possible tennis partner.
Today we're going to see some of those rule changes impact today's favorite player, 2-time Grand Ram champion Sir Reggie Puke.
Well, he likes to say Puck, like Wolfgang Puck.
Gotcha, sorry. But I wouldn't mention the chef's name too loudly around here. He's known widely for his excellent lamb stew.
Back when those sheep began grazing on the tennis court, they didn't wear helmets, as they are required to today. So Sir Reggie likes to carom a hard serve off the sheep's hard helmet with predictable results. It's a great move.
He should be able to use that rather effectively today against Sister Angst, who has more of an orthodox approach. Not to bring religion into this.
Well, another change that may play into the outcome of today's match is that today's tennis sheep are bred to be large and extra woolly. Extra fluffy sheep walking around the court there act like giant sponges, sucking in balls and, of course, taking them out of play. These big fluffy sheep present quite an imposing obstacle on the court, and this may favor Sister Angst because of her agility.
So what's the takeaway? If your ball strikes a sheep, it better be in the helmet, and that's Sir Reggie's specialty. Actually, sheep tennis players are some of the most accurate shots in the game.
Well, that means the match is about to begin, but first, a word from one of our sponsors. We want to thank Overbooked Economy Travel of Maple Grove, Minnesota, for making our travel plans for the Sportsblimp crew.
Overbooked Economy Travel puts you in the economy seat for all your travel needs. As everyone knows, economy class is the cheapest way to fly, but did you know that there are economy hotels, economy tours, and economy restaurants just jam-packed with travelers saving big on their vacations? If being packed into a small space with near zero legroom can save you big bucks on a flight, then hotels and restaurants should be no different. Do you really need all that space in a restaurant? We know that your budget has little room for food, so why waste it on your elbows? A smaller table with more people means you save big. Who knew a table for 4 could seat 8? We here at Overbooked Economy Travel know that half the fun of traveling is who you're sitting next to, or sleeping next to. Overbooked Travel Share a Bed can really save you big. It's a little different, but it's cheap. Hey,
and
who do you think you are, a king? Check out this month's specials.
Overbooked Economy Travel vacation destination is the forgotten paradise of Tasmania and the Tasmania Prison Compound. For a fraction of the cost of a luxury vacation, you'll be transported back in time. Stay in the same cells as political prisoners of the 1800s. Relive the days when convicts paid off their debt to society in these cramped quarters.
Contact Overbooked Economy Travel today online at www.abargainsabargain.com. Overbooked Economy Travel, small space, big savings.
On the sheep tennis court today, 2 outstanding competitors, 2-time Grand Ram champion Sir Reggie Puck. Sir Reggie will take on a newcomer to this high-stakes tournament, Sister Mary Angst, dubbed the Frying Nun, because she volunteered as a fry cook many times in homeless shelters around Chinatown.
Not to be confused with Sally Field's character who played opposite Burt Reynolds in the classic Deliverance.
No, you're thinking of the Flying Nun.
Listen, I know the Chinese replace R with L sometimes, but there's no need to make fun of it,
Anyway, let's look at the sheep that will be defending our players today.
Is that the Dolly?
Well, yes, Dolly, the first cloned sheep in the world, turns out to be one of the fiercest defensive animals in the long and rich history of sheep tennis.
For Sir Reggie, he'll have to deal with the fear of the flock, Razzle. Razzle can stare down a coyote. This is a ram that knows no fear and is 80% blind.
Well, he's got the nose all right. Remember last year, he came up under defending champion Wanton Rage and tipped him on his head, which caused him to miss what would have been the return of an easy lob to center court.
Okay, play is about to begin as the fog is clearing, so we'll be able to see at least some of the action.
Well, let's go to eye, ear, and nose specialist Dr. Novotny courtside.
Thank you, Eric. You can feel the tension on the court and in the stands, and especially here in line for the men's room. The men I am standing with here know everything hangs in the balance. The wait is long with no sign of relief in sight.
Thank you, Doctor. We'll need you at courtside as soon as you finish.
Excuse me.
One of the challenges for sheep tennis teams is that the matches are played on grass. Wimbledon is the only Grand Slam to have always been played on the same surface, and that's grass too.
But of course, the sheep are not allowed to graze. The player is penalized if they do, and that's why they're being allowed to graze right now before the match gets underway.
Of course, the problem with that is that if they graze too much, you run danger of tripping on sheep shit.
Okay, as soon as we get a clear bleat from the servers defending sheep, we'll get underway. Did you know that sheep make a different sound in different countries? Like in English, the sheep, of course, and the goats go ba or ba. In Dutch, sheep say bay bay. And in Japanese, they say may may. Did you know that?
But all sheep say the same thing when a 95-mile-per-hour serve comes right at them. And now let's go courtside to Dr. Novotny.
And there's the ba, as we say in English, and Sir Puke serves.
That's Puck.
Gotcha. Sister Anx returns it smartly, reaching over the defensive sheep on her side of the net.
The animal having an innate sense about where angst is going to have to go to return that serve.
But she somehow gets around or over the sheep. Now, Puke.
That's Puck.
Puck finds his way around his defensive sheep, but has to reach low for the ball. He golfs it up and...
Beautiful shot.
And that lob costs Sister Anx to have to scoop it up before it hits the turf. And she does!
Oh, that's not the ball flying over the net.
That's the problem with grazing before the match.
Sister has flung a nice one. Fortunately, not quite over Sir Reggie's head.
That's what I'm talking about. Looks like we'll need to take a break while Sir Reggie's attendants apply a towel or two.
Well, here comes the ball boy with a bag and shovel. How about a word from one of our loyal sponsors?
Slim's Bowling and Convention Center in Alpena, Michigan.
Looking for the perfect location for your next big family reunion, birthday bash, or wake? Well, maybe now's the time to start. You might not think of a bowling alley right away, but you might after a couple of beers. Slim's Bowling and Convention Center has hosted some of the biggest gatherings in Northeast Michigan.
The Smite family reunion, for one. Grandma Smite gave us 3.5 stars online. In her comment, she said, once we coordinated the bowling and the dancing, people started having fun, and my elbow's healing up just fine.
And when it comes to food, back that truck up, 'cause Slim's got you covered. Your gang will love our brats, beer, and sauerkraut troughs. Our chocolate fountain works a lot of the time, and you can make your own fountain-style s'mores. So call Slim's Bowling and Convention Center and plan your big to-do.
Remember, at Slim's, it isn't just about balls and strikes.
It's about fun. It's about fun.
That's right. Well, his attendants have gotten Sir Reggie cleaned up after that unfortunate scoop-up lob by Sister Mary Angst.
Sister Angst is ready to serve again.
There's the serve. Flock. The judge calls flock, because it hits the left defensive sheep razzle.
It looks like the ball disappeared into his wool.
Talk about woolly. A Leeds man once found his wife in there.
Here's the second try. She serves a rocket to Sir Reggie. He dives over his sheep and returns it.
What a dive.
Angst dives herself to get it, but no, it's a point for Sir Reggie.
Ferdinand. Ferdinand is the youngest sheep on the court today. He had to replace the veteran Jenny, the sheep who, unfortunately, has a bad case of foot rot.
There's some commotion on the sideline there.
Yes, the coach is barking at the line judge.
The sheepdog coach is sounding off.
The coach is sending cues to Sir Reggie and trying his best to intimidate the line judge, who is obviously afraid of dogs.
What is the dog barking about there, Doctor?
Actually, I think the dog is barking at your blimp.
Well, the fog is cleared and our blimp is actually casting a big shadow over the stadium.
Well, I guess the dog has a point. And we'll take this chance to give some love to our newest sponsor. Take a break now while we maneuver the blimp. Lu Lin's Grand Chinese Buffet and Heat Lamp Emporium.
Lu Lin's Chinese Buffet and Heat Lamp Emporium is your one-stop shop for fast Chinese food and piping hot heat lamps. Bring the down-home charm of a warm tray of chow mein to your own home. Folks all around the country are discovering the magic of having a professional buffet-grade heat lamp in their very own kitchen. Didn't have time to finish breakfast? Just set those ham and eggs under a beautiful heat lamp from Lu Lin's, and they'll be waiting for you hot and crackly when you get home. Now, when you purchase a heat lamp, you get the tray of food sitting underneath it for free. That's right, buy one of our large orange heat lamps and take home a tray slathered with sweet and sour pork or mouth-watering moo goo gai pan, and take the pan home with you. And today's catch what catch can dinner buffet economy, heat lamps are an absolute necessity. Just set one of those heat lamps over your counter today and make sure your kitchen has the warmth of the Far East in it all day long. Lu Lin's Chinese Buffet and Heat Lamp Emporium next to the off-ramp on Highway 10, 5 miles north of Dothan, Alabama.
Well, we're not blocking the sun anymore. Looks like play will resume.
That's right. It's Sir Reggie's serve, and it's a heater. Takes a bounce under. Dolly the cloned. Whoa! I don't believe it!
What happened, Doctor?
Dolly has cloned herself. She suddenly split into 2 sheep, and the ball hit Dolly number 2. The fans are absolutely stunned. We've just witnessed a miracle. But it'll have to wait as the line judge consults the rule book. Meanwhile, the dogs are chasing after the ball, which is rolled off the court. It's absolute bedlam down here.
Well, maybe this is a good time to land on a pub somewhere and refuel. Oh, I need another drink. Hal?
Well, so do I.
Okay, folks. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
What a doozy.
For all your exciting sports action, keep it tuned to the Sports Blimp. Next, we might be flying over your neck of the woods.
In fact, coming up next week, we are continuing our European tour in Luxembourg for the annual Farmer Olympics, where we'll be covering the vegetable luge.
Great! Hope to join us for that. For Eric Rantman and myself, wishing you more than a sporting chance here on the Sports Blimp All Sports Network.
Sportsblimp is produced and distributed with a grant from the Goodyear Dirigible Company in Bucyrus, Ohio. Many of America's other favorite sports are played in the shadow of the Sportsblimp.